Broadcasting worldwide from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.
Talk to Patrick now, 888-663-6386, or email patrick@oneradionetwork.com.
I didn't know he was going to call in, but I suspect that's him. Is that you, Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, it is. Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Can you speak up a little bit for me? You're kind of you're kind of low there.
Okay, let me try to increase the volume. All right.
Yeah, give me a little volume there. You got a little controls there, huh?
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, you got me. Can you give me any more? It's 4 minutes after the hour. Gerald O'Donnell is with us, probablefuture.com. He's a remote viewer. He's a cosmic voyager. He's done some interesting work with espionage and stuff, kind of James Bond, but talks a lot about spirituality and who we are, where we're going. And
by the way, my code is not 007-777.
777. Ah, I see. Do you get all the girls too? That's
yes, my friends. I'm not going to talk about it. Other than that,
just your close personal friends, right?
Yes.
Have you been traveling about, Mr. O'Donnell?
Yeah, I just came back from the Middle East. I was there for over 8 weeks.
Huh.
Yeah, I came back about 4 weeks ago.
And what were you doing over there?
I was called to be in the city of Jerusalem and do some very high energy work, anchoring, balancing energies, and something that I do usually at least once a year. It's a major portal.
Gerald O'Donnell is he's a mathematician guy, computer science, MBA, hypnotherapist, and he was actually a commodities expert. And whoops, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, now that sounds better. What'd you just do?
Yeah, that's why I just went to the regular phone number.
Oh, yeah, that sounds a lot better.
I'm sorry.
You sound closer now.
Yeah, you see.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm not remote anymore.
That's right. I think you were at Venus when we talked to you a few minutes ago.
Yes.
So, did you use your kind of remote viewing stuff in your commodities business to predict the price of gold and silver and stuff?
You mean the one that I posted before?
No.
Years ago already?
Yeah, just in general when you did the commodities thing. I mean, is that why you were so good at it?
Yeah.
Really? Is that fair?
Yeah, but I posted on the website already when gold was 225, I think. I posted, that was 1999 or 2000. I was just telling people, please buy this because this is going to go up very much, and most people may have listened or not, I don't know, but I was getting that information, yeah.
So where does that information come from?
It depends where you connect to. You can connect to what I call the matrix, which is a level of projection of reality, but there are many, many avenues there, so it's difficult to know which one is more probable than another. Or you can connect to where I get my information from, which is levels close to the one, and then there's a much global, more distant view and more precise view as to the probability that most probably will be unfolding.
Now, the future is not here yet, right?
No, it's already gone.
So,
no.
now my head's going to explode, Gerald, if you talk to me like that, you know.
The future, there is no future. In reality, there is no future. The future is a prepared. Well, until now, okay, we're gonna have to discuss how creation is shifting. But until now, the different paths or global paths of the future were prepared by levels of creators. Something that we could call the lattice of creation or the matrix of creation, both good and evil. And by good, I don't mean necessarily, there are, of course, shades of good and shades of by evil, I mean situations that are uncomfortable and difficult. And man has the free will to choose between these paths, the one that she wants to choose on an individual basis, or the one that they want to choose on a collective basis. And the collective is influencing the individual tremendously. So the future is already there, but our energizing the future, if you want, is what makes that future the present.
So the future, because it's all now, right? I mean, it's just one big now. So
it's not really now. No? Everybody says it's now. At the level of the creators, all the possibilities are vibrated in advance. It's like, let's say, if you have the potential of buying a certain house, and that path is a path that would not be done probably by very high levels, but let's say your higher self has chosen that as one possibility. Mm-hmm. The house is vibrated for you. It's already in your bubble reality, because we all have our own bubble reality that's projected inside our brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we perceive this as an external world. So that is already prepared for you. Were you to make that choice, you then put the light of your consciousness onto that reality, and that reality, until that point, is just vibrating mm-hmm. on a different realm, on a very low hum. The moment you put your choice on it and you energize it, and then you open that door, then that particular future becomes the now. Yes. So there is only the now. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we accept this kind of bubbling reality that we've created on some level, and if we accept it, well, then we got it.
Yeah, and we accept it. We choose it, really.
Mm-hmm. We choose it. Oh.
Most people accept it. You're very correct. Most people do not really realize that they have the power to choose, so they just accept what other people tell them they should do, or the advisors, or what society tells them to do, and then basically they don't choose. But they have always the ability to have free will.
Hmm. So if one hears a lot of talk about, let's just pick something like terrorism, and they build this brand name about terrorism.
Yeah.
Souls choose to accept that reality. Is it right?
Yeah. Choose, but this goes further than that. Choose to accept that reality, but it takes two to tango. Remember that the terrorist, or the bad guy, so to speak, mm-hmm. That is coming across you is manifesting something within you, always.
Yes.
So if you are obsessed with fear, let's say if you're building bunkers and protection, and then you think that the world will attack you, and then you buy weapons for it, the enemy will show at your gate, because you've created that situation, and they will appear in your either individual reality or global reality. It's really you manifesting what you're afraid of in an individual. So they both manifesting, and then both have to learn a lesson, which is that this is highly destructive, and the only solution is to unite and be in love with each other.
So that's why you say there's two to tango. So love is the only thing that's worth anything.
That's the only thing that has reality.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is an illusion. At the level of the one, it's an illusion, of course.
Yeah.
But he's playing that game for learning purposes, both for us, which are him, but especially for the one. The one is learning the illusion of the many, so that he learns what he is not.
I'm starting to understand this, which is really, frightening me. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Oh. It's 12 minutes after the hour, Gerald O'Donnell. So then each soul, we have to be connected then. We are part of one another, are we not?
Of course. Take the example of any organ, any biology.
Mm-hmm.
All the cells are connected. They all have this instinctive operation, which is controlled by the subconscious, whereby they operate in somehow unison. But some cells sometimes refuse to connect, and they say, "Hey, we're going to form our fortress. We're not going to participate in sharing our feeding mechanism, or the energy that we need with others, and we're going to start hoarding." And that's when you have the phenomena called as tumors and cancers and so forth. So there is free will even at the level of the soul. There is consciousness there. It's not human consciousness, but we are all connected. Of course, we are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
We're all from one organism.
God.
Exactly. We are all cells in the body of God, yeah.
So when we see other souls that have these qualities that are just, oh, that person's bad, right? So what's going on there?
When you
see other souls and they're doing things that are really dumb, right? They're really bad. They're killing people, whatever. What's our connection with that?
Okay, you're talking about, for instance, what's happening lately, more and more?
Yeah, either that or just anybody in general.
In the history of mankind, yeah.
Yeah.
When man gets disconnected from the perception of being a part of the Creator, which is what is being metaphorically called the downfall of man, okay, the fall of man, meaning that he falls from this perception of being God, and therefore cannot operate as God, because at the level of God, it is only gifting. It is only of gifting of life. The idea is all about being in peace and balancing, and there is nothing about taking for yourself. Of course, you need to sustain yourself, but the focus is on gifting.
Mm-hmm.
When we fall from that perception, and we were fallen long eons ago, and then we get totally disconnected from that perception, or we get wrong perceptions about, which is usually intellectual perception of what the Creator is about, and He's sitting up in heavens and judging everybody, and then one day He will come, and then there will be mayhem, and so on and so forth. When we lose the idea that we are God in alive in person, and we are living within the embodiment of the godliness, we may turn to become what I call like almost dead souls. And at that point, the behavior is so foreign to the original that there is a certain sense of anger, a sense of cruelty that may arise, because the actions of the cells, if you want, becomes so egocentric and so so controlled by the other pole of creation, which is the pole of separation, to such an extent that you may have incredible violence suddenly occurring, and people snap right and left when they're frustrated, not realizing why they're here for, because they've been so programmed, either from their society or from what they're watching or from other elements, or poisoned by elements that they're taking within that interfere with their proper functioning, that they just lash out.
So taking this idea of believing this separation from God to a whole extreme level where they're really confused and they don't know what to do except kill other people or go to war,
right,
or whatever they do. Yeah.
Right. And by God, I don't mean a religious system. Huh?
Sure.
I mean just the understanding that you're part of a gigantic intelligence and you're it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain function. You have a certain restricted role and operation within it, but you are it.
You are it.
And you have tremendous power within, if you want to align to it, to heal not only yourself, but your environment, and as far as your thoughts can travel. And thoughts have no space nor time. They can travel everywhere.
What's the subconscious?
Well, by the definition of psychology, it's what exists but is not part of your conscious mind. It is there, but you're not conscious of it. So the subconscious is a deeper level of thoughts that you're not necessarily conscious. Now, there are correlation between the subconscious and the brain, of course. And as you put, we know that the outer, if you consider the brain as being a manifestation or a metaphorical manifestation of the way by which the Creator operates, the outer layer of it would be where mankind would be the most separated element. And that outer layer would think in terms of human thoughts, which are linear thoughts. There's not much parallel thinking, because in order to create, the Creator must have, the ability to think more in a digital way, which means like it has, an infinite amount of parallel thinking operating at the same time and coordinating each planes of operation together, so that we have this perfection in creation. Call it nature, or call it your biology, or call it anything. So your subconscious is the part that's much deeper within you that does not think linearly from A to B to C. As a matter of fact, most people, when they start meditating and enter the subconscious realm, do find that there is no thought, because they're only awaiting linear thought. There is no linear thought there. It's a vibratory language, and in that vibratory language can be translated for you in linear thought. You can hear, a voice, or you can hear that, but it's really not linear. It's operating on billions and trillions of operations at the same time. I mean, if you consider even the subconscious that controls your biology, there's like 82 trillion operations per nanoseconds. And all this is coordinated in the subconscious. So there is a gigantic intelligence. If you ask a human man, a man to do this on his own, to do 82 trillion operations in a nanosecond, he would say, no, I'll give it to a computer. He can't do it. So if you want, it's a godly computer-like operation, but with consciousness. It's a conscious computer.
We're with Gerald O'Donnell, ProbableFuture.com, the Academy of Remote Viewing and Remote Influencing. So, as soul, when you do remote viewing, are you just putting your attention somewhere else, and maybe it feels like traveling, but you're already there?
Yes, because by definition, the only reality that exists in creation is thought.
The only reality in creation is thought.
God is anything but thought, only thought. Not energy, thought. Thought manifests energy when it wants, of course, but it is thought. Just thought, intelligence, pure intelligence.
Yeah, well, some of my thoughts aren't too intelligent.
Well, because we have, when the Creator creates thought, He also creates systems of thoughts that apply to the creature that He wants to create. For instance, if He creates an ant, He's going to create a system of vibratory thought where the ant will feel and sense everything on vibratory level, antennas, and then there will be some kind of a mass consciousness around that grouping of ants, around the queen ant, and they operate in that manner. That's a structure that's created by the Creator in advance. Humans have human thoughts, which are linear, and then the incredible thing with human, which animals don't have, even though animals are by far less rebellious than humans, I would say. They don't fall, really. They operate in coordination with each other. Nature is a magnificent being. What happens with humans is that they have the ability to wake up to the fact that they are not only a cell of the oneness, the one, but that they are the one. And then, therefore, they can get qualities that allow them to become literally like co-creator, if we call them sub-gods. That hasn't happened yet. But they were born with that ability. It's given at birth to any human being. But in order to do that, they have to wake up to the reality that they are part of the one, and then since the one is only one and not two, as they approach that realization, and then they are vibrating or resonating to that not idea, but to that thought process, which is the process of the one, they automatically are transformed totally, first in their thought level, then in their consciousness level, and then it goes much deeper. It goes into even in the biological level, whereby they start doing things that we cannot even conceive of. That we talk about old masters that came on Earth for a while. They were showing that.
Yeah.
And you know very well that Jesus said, "What I do, you'll do better in the future."
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about. He said that potential is always there with humanity. But as long as they stay disconnected from that, they don't even any idea what they're here for. They just think they're a biology or a different species. They cannot make this gigantic quantum jump in awareness. But it's available and it's happening right now, and I'm going to talk about it. Not only is it happening, it will happen because there has been a decision by the core of the Creator, I'm talking about not the one, to infiltrate his own creation, to penetrate all the levels of creation, so that anybody will perceive suddenly that he's not just, Mr. Such and Such or Mrs. Such and Such, he's also the one. So, there will be like a multidimensional realization.
So all souls that are in physical reality now have that opportunity.
Yes, this is the time. Now, I'm going to say, it's not, the time has always been there, and there have been quite a number of souls that have gotten to this realization, call them avatars or masters. But right now, it needs to be done at the level of the whole creation, because the creation has separated into such, I would call creative levels of absurd connections and perception and then dangerous warring, that the one has two choices. Either he allows this to go down into total destruction, or he interferes, and then he goes in, and then we go back to our source. It's like a father that says, after having watched his children or grandchildren warring for a while, and he says, okay, well, maybe you should remember that you're all brothers and sisters, and I'm coming back, and I'm not going to allow for the whole structure that I built around you to be destroyed because you're doing this, and then you're hurting yourself for no reason, because you've lost the perception that you are all born from the same. No matter how you look, no matter what you profess to follow as a philosophy or religion or no religion, you're just born all the same. Otherwise, you wouldn't exist.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. You want to take a few emails?
Mm-hmm.
This is Karen in Sweden. Thank you for having Gerald down on the show. Could you please ask him for any advice for someone who is chronically ill or has bad health? What kind of things can they do from your perspective?
Okay. Again, until now, what I used to call the super conscious, or if you want, the overself, as what the religious people call the Father or the One, which is not really Father. By Father, I mean active creator. This is the active part of the totality. Was allowing people just to manifest based either on actions that they would take, of course, but also the thought had to be behind, and the belief system had to be behind, with blind faith that particular action or particular medicine or whatever they were taking would work. That's what the placebo effect is. Because without believing in the success of a certain medicine, it usually does not work very well. This is something that medicine has approached. Epigenetics is talking a lot about it, but it's really your thought that comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So if you believe that a doctor dressed in white is like an angel, and then he knows how to heal you, and then you have total faith, which is a good idea instead of being critical of the treatment, there's a high chance that you will be healed. Now, I'm not so sure if it's the treatment itself that did it, but it's your belief that this treatment is going to heal that really starts healing, because healing comes from you in reality. You're healing yourself. Because we all have this perfect blueprint of healing around ourselves and within ourselves. This stays there. We're born with it. So the body has always the codes to recreate a perfect body. We know about stem cells, we know about the way the DNA works. So until now, when a person wanted to heal, all they had to do is to see themselves healed, take actions that are appropriate, or not take actions, or just really seal themselves and be totally convinced that they're going to get healed, and that would affect them very strongly. This has changed since, I would say, about a year and a half ago, whereby now, in order to manifest, because what would happen then is that your overself, which is inside of you in your subconscious, called the core of creation, would then cooperate and then project reality using its knowledge, which is by far greater than our knowledge. We can never touch and manipulate, either our cells or our DNA in that manner. So the core would then, by you just asking that in language and seeing it, but with full faith, will then manifest this healing for you. Well, what has happened now is that there's been a decision, since the one sees that we are so disconnected, that we have to come and meet him halfway, meaning that we have to search inside, because we all carry that spark of the one in us, and align with that spark. And as we align with that spark, the one will meet us halfway, so that now whatever you want to manifest, as long as it is in the spirit of oneness and this good heart expressed, that will manifest. If you want to manifest things that don't come from the beauty of wanting to gift to everybody a beautiful life and having this pleasure, I mean, this inner pleasure of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's only an egoistic, purely egoistic desire, that will not find the cooperation that used to be there before, because the one was very passive and now he's not passive anymore. Then there will not be any more the cooperative element, and then you will then need to go on your own and find whatever you need, but that's going to be very hard.
So as soul is evolving, the soul is being asked to be more of a active participant.
Yes.
Yeah.
With even responsibilities. We're not any more little children. The one is saying, okay, I'm taking you into the family. You're an active participant. Show me that you can be like me. I'm not asking you to have anything close to my powers. I will do the work. But just show me that you reflect my qualities, which are that I care for all my children, I care for everybody, I care for all the animals, I care for the environment, I care for everything. Show me those qualities. And then if you show me those qualities, I'll always meet you halfway. All you need to do is ask for me, vibrate, and then from that point on, you become a co-creator. I mean, this is very powerful, and you're I shouldn't be saying this now, but eventually your brain, the two sides of your brain connect. We're not there yet. The corpus callosum, like almost operate.
So then all of the things that we might do physically, there are our effort to be kind of a co-worker with God, saying, okay, I believe in this, but I'm gonna do this too. I'm just not going to sit around and eat potato chips and think I'm going to get healed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's in reality, it's much easier. You know, because in order to manipulate, let's say, your DNA, you don't really need to do that.
Right. You don't have to know how to do it.
No, exactly. Yeah. You don't have to go there and do like surgery on the DNA, which is the way they're doing that, which is really primitive.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. It's already there. There are the program. The DNA has its own program to change things right there. And as a matter of fact, our language, believe it or not, our language, when you vibrate with a creator, which is vibrating within your DNA, by the way, when you vibrate within this divine strand, which is only standing light. There is no real material DNA as we think it's material, but it's a standing light. When you vibrate in conjunction with the desire and the vibration of oneness, all you need to do is basically command this. And if the command that you're asking is within the desire of oneness, and it's going to help you, and it's going to help you help others, then the healing comes.
Very interesting, Gerald.
How would you explain people were healing, doing miracles 2,000 years ago?
Sure.
They were not going to a lab and doing genetic manipulations. Right.
Gerald O'Donnell, probablefuture.com, probablefuture.com. It's an honor to have him on. Please pass on these links to everyone that you care about, Facebook and like and all that stuff, and spread it around. Great stuff, huh? We will continue in just a couple of minutes here, and if you'd like to be on the show and talk to Mr. O'Donnell, you can do that a couple of ways. Telephone, 888-663-6386, and email is Patrick at OneRadioNetwork.com, Patrick at OneRadioNetwork.com. We love this bio superfood. We call it BioAge for short, immune support. I've been giving the bio prep to the dogs and mixing it in with a little shark cartilage and some probiotics, some warm water in a syringe, and they've been getting their medicine every day. We're going to take them up another level and get them nice and strong. So the ticks and fleas, we'll just leave them alone this summer. That's our current goal. And the bio superfood, bio preparation is for the four-leggeds, and the bio superfood is for us two-leggeds. And it's a really great product. You can listen to the interview we did with Dr. Michael Kiriak, I guess a couple months ago, and Roland Thomas. Right under the ad, you'll see why is BioAge so special. Listen to the interview and click and order. Try a month's worth and just see if you don't say, yeah, I like this. I mean, there's something about energetically, it's a very lovely product. It's 4 different algae and mixed together synergistically, and they did a lot of research on this. You'll hear it all in the interview, or just download the book, Awakening the Genius Within. Awakening the Genius Within. It's an ebook, free, and download it and read all about how they helped a lot of animals over there in Russia years ago. Dr. Michael Kiriak, BioAid Superfood, right on the front page of OneRadioNetwork.com. More with Gerald O'Donnell coming up. Daniel Vitalis, let's play a game. On a desert island, you can only pick one food. Just one. Just only one.
If I had to live off of one food, I think it would be, if I had any choice, it would probably be colostrum. It's the most complete food that I know of. And the thing about colostrum is the first food for any mammal. So it's kind of a no-brainer that colostrum contains all essential fats, it contains all essential amino acids, it contains all essential glyconutrients, which are carbohydrates. It basically contains every substance that we need to maintain our bodies. The first milking you get from a cow after the cow calves is called colostrum. Every milking thereafter is called transitional milk, and what it is it's part colostrum and part milk. So that's something that can happen in the industry because people will sell you the transitional milk and call it colostrum. We're very careful not to do that. We only use the first milking of the animals.
Pure colostrum from Surthrival. They take the moisture out. That's it. To order, click on the picture of colostrum, front page, OneRadioNetwork.com.
We hope you're enjoying the program on One Radio Network, sponsored by USGoldCoins.com, where we provide a team that offers a depth of knowledge and an expansive network of industry contacts unparalleled in the gold and silver coin markets. There's a reason people have been coming to us for more than 3 decades. You too can experience the difference in a real gold and silver coin company. Come see why investors have put their trust in USGoldCoins.com, a company with an expansive knowledge of the gold and silver coin market that has been building portfolios for investors since 1981. Call us today at 1-800-878-2646. USGoldCoins.com, 1-800-878-2646 for the best in United States gold and silver coins.
Well, gold is hanging around $1,606 this morning. Down a little bit. Silver's down about 1.5%. It's under $30. $29.59 should be a good buy at that, I think. But what do I know? The dollar is hanging steady, and oil is about $95. There you have it from USGoldCoins.com, SDL Incorporated, Andy Goss's company.
We are listener-supported. One Radio Network. Talk to Patrick now. 888-663-6386. Or email patrick@oneradionetwork.com.
Excuse me, I'll turn on my microphone before I start talking with Gerald O'Donnell, probablefuture.com. So tell us a little bit about your courses. I saw that you have some new things for 2013. You actually teach people to remote view. You do this long distance?
No, they do this long distance.
I knew you were going to say that. Just kidding. They do it long distance.
Yeah, they do it long distance, yeah. Basically, they do it. They think they're doing it long distance. In reality, they bring in that reality or that perception to themselves. In other words, when they let go of the linear mind, they let go of the linear space, and they let go of linear time, because that's all an illusion that's projected to humanity. So when they're going to what you could call the subconscious, very deep subconscious, and we teach people to easily reach those levels. I mean, they can take an EEG. As a matter of fact, we're going to have soon something that would provide where they can, they can do a feedback on the machine and check where they are. But they do it, and then they go to the borderline of what we call sleep. They're able to get information and connect to realities which are basically parallel to ours, because everything is really operating in reality outside of time and space. We see it as time and space, That's our world. We need to see this as time and space, otherwise we would lose the idea of continuity, the idea of challenge, the idea of history and so forth. And that's set up like this. But everything is really already there, and it's operating on a plane where, if your thought is infinite, you can define it. If I ask you, I always say, if you ask you how long have you thought about something, you cannot define time on a thought. There's no time for thought.
And there's a lot of other realities. We know that, right?
God.
It's just infinite.
Yeah, it's funny because we talk about infinity because when we relate to the one, we always say it's infinity, but infinity is also an illusion because infinity is as far as the one wants to go. For us, in perception, it is infinity. Yeah? It's gigantic.
Just keeps on going.
It keeps on moving constantly. The mind expands and is changing constantly. Whatever the mind is vibrating, something is where it is. So, for our perception, if you're talking about billions of universes, of course it's infinite. Even one universe looks like it's almost infinite. But the thought is infinite. And thought is not really... Thought is infinite because when it enters the finite level, it creates what is called infinity. But it needs to create the finite level first. In the word infinite, you have finite first.
21 before the hour. Here is Justin. Good morning, gentlemen. What do we need to do as individuals in this coming shift? On another note, I read some of the testimonials on Mr. O'Donnell's website. Wow, one fella actually re-knit his compound fracture.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I've had people, and these are like average people, very nice people, who just had a compound fracture, was taken to a hospital, and then he fixed it before the doctors, managed to, because they did an MRI and a CAT scan, and they were about to operate him, and he just fixed it right there by going to Delta. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I've witnessed this with my own son once. No, as a matter of fact, I should say 2 sons. And I've witnessed it on myself many times.
So this Delta brainwave.
Yeah.
This is the healing, or the space where soul can facilitate.
You know what we call a Delta, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the Creator is co-creating with us too. So what we call Delta is really a brainwave that's operating between 1 and 4, about say 4 cycles per second. Okay, which is a level of sleep. Mm-hmm. Which means your cortex is really asleep, and then you have a very, very slow hum operating from very deep inside your brain. But in reality, the delta comes from the letter delta, which means a door. It's a doorway. So when your human brain, which gives you this illusion or reality that we call reality, as we walk around on what we think is the earth, and then we do our things, and then we get to do our homework basically here as beings and evolve. You go past that, and then you connect now to the realm of the divine through that delta. It's a portal.
What's the difference between the brain and the mind?
The mind is all there is. The brain is a structure that allows us to have consciousness related to the reflection of a holographic reality and operated within certain rules that the brain follows until now, which is separation between logical, intuitive, and perceptions and visual, all the perceptions that we get, any kind, including what we think are the sixth sense, are originating from the area of the brain. And it's also a central operating computer for the biology. But the brain itself does not really think. It's
just more a hardware.
It's more like a hardware. Mm-hmm. The program is outside. The brain is translating. The brain is a translation machine between vibratory reality, which we don't see. If you take your brain out, and I'm talking now from experience that I've had and some of my students have had. If your brain is totally, so to speak, asleep, you will perceive this world as being an eternal and infinite ocean of vibratory golden particles. That's all there is. Mm-hmm. There is no more material world. There's no up, there's no down, there's nothing, just vibratory particles. That's the reality behind the scene, if you will. As the brain starts being reconnected, suddenly all this transforms into your room or whatever you were. If you were in nature comes back. So the brain is what gives you this impression of this 3D holographic reality. It's a magnificent creation. And of course, every single different species has different brains because of that.
Lisa, she is in San Diego. What's Gerald O'Donnell's understanding of dreams?
That's an interesting thing because I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday. Yeah, we went through this, okay, in the grand scheme of things, God is not on a throne asking for everybody to worship him. There may be a core that's somehow remote, yeah, but if you consider that the Creator is one, he's really, she at that point is no he or she, that the separation is later. He's really dreaming us constantly, especially at the level of nature, which is a she then, so that we have a support to exist. Our biology is being dreamed constantly. It's not because the matter has to be dreamed by thought, using the power of vibratory light, so that we perceive it as such. Within rules, there are rules there that say you don't go through a wall. Now, the wall is really just light. There's nothing there, but the texture is there. The density is there, and your inability to go through the wall is part of the program. You will not go through a wall. You will feel gravity. All these things are there, and then we have to operate within all these rules. So we are being dreamed constantly, because if the Creator stops dreaming us, we disappear in the recesses of his mind. All of us. There is no universe that implodes because there's whatever. That's not the way it ends. It ends usually in nothingness. That's it. Everything goes back to the one. So we are being dreamed. Now the question is, what is our dream? It's an interesting thing. Like when you dream, have you ever asked yourself, I'm in a dream, and I'm me, usually my character, because you usually don't dream being a different character unless you want to play around in a lucid dream. But let's say in a character, where are all the other characters coming from? Who is really dreaming them?
Yeah, is it you, or they're having the same dream?
Yeah, because I'm dreaming here and I'm being, let's say, climbing a mountain, and people are running after me and trying to do something to me, or I meet somebody, and who's dreaming the other character? Where am I getting my surprises from? Because if I'm the dreamer, where am I getting the other characters from? How come they're originating in my dream? I'm the dreamer. I decide I'm going to go to sleep, and within like a couple of seconds I had this dream. It can happen almost immediately. Who was dreaming all the other characters? And you know what the answer is? It's you. And this is where the idea of parallel superimposed states exists. There is a level of your subconscious that take care of projecting those characters to you, and then it's like a game of chess, but it's parallel. Instead of being on the same board, there is one board above the other. So you are dreaming the other characters. Let's say they are attacking you. You here are trying to find a way of saving yourself. But the part that's projecting the other character is still you on a higher plane, if you want, of your subconscious.
But isn't that just like it is here?
Yes, exactly. That's the reason I was mentioning it.
I mean, I'm dreaming you and you're dreaming me.
Yes, but they're different levels, because if those levels wouldn't exist on top of each other, what we call the levels of higher selves, because there's not one higher self, or the levels of angels, which are really programs with consciousness that are operating and creating all this. If we were not having this superimposed at the same time on our reality, and if the realities were to get too close, the whole dream would disappear. Because you would be walking in your dream, and suddenly you would not think that you're yourself. You would think that you, the person across, was doing that too at the same time. And as you start merging with that person, the whole dream disappears, because you don't have a concrete system of thought that makes you believe you're you, which is what consciousness does. You understand?
Yeah. It tricks us into believing that I'm separate.
Right. The separation, we go against separation, but the separation is the only way by which the one can have the illusion of creating the many, and he has his creatures. He devised the system of separation. We can talk at length on how he devised that. It's pretty brilliant.
Pretty brilliant. I had this experience. You would like to hear?
Yes.
The other night, when my body was sleeping, it was just a great spot, just kind of flying around as so or something. And I got it, and here's what I brought back, and it was the start of a poem that I wrote for Sharon, and I'm just going to read you the first part. And I wrote it down as soon as I got back into my body. Is this is the exact words? I don't know how to call it. Everything is a part of me, a part of me that I don't want to see because it's me.
Absolutely. You said it, that I don't want to see.
I don't want to see because it's me.
Because it's you. Yes. And you know what? It's interesting. Can I make a comment? We're going to go a little bit sideways on that.
Go anywhere you want.
All right. In the famous Genesis, there's the creation of Adam, who is male and female, of course. What does that mean? It means that he has this superimposed higher self, feminine, that's considered feminine, which is more passive, which would be, in our perception, the right side of the brain, giving him intuition that he's trying to listen. And he's walking the earth, as man does, trying to figure out what path he should take, path not take, which one is painful and not painful. And I'm not going to go into the whole story, but at one point, he goes to his creator and he says, well, you created me because you were bored, so you created a creature in your mind so that you have the impression of being two, because in reality we were one. But I'm getting kind of bored because I know in advance everything I should do, because my superimposed state on top of me is so close to me that I know it constantly. We're naked, we see each other constantly. That's what naked means. We're seeing each other constantly. So he's asking, do me a favor, I can't operate like this. There's no surprise, it's too boring. I know what to do, because the higher self sees the creation from the other side, from the vibratory side. So it knows, hey, don't make these mistakes, don't buy this house, don't do this investment, just do that, because they see it. I want to operate in a more separate way. So God says, okay, we'll operate in a more separate way. And then as they're operating somehow in a more separate way, he starting to have problems connecting to his intuitive side, if you want, to his feminine side, the male side. So he's saying, I need, this is not working out. I need something, more real. And then God takes then therefore a branch from himself, which you call a rib. That's just a branch of consciousness that he projects across as an embodiment now with flesh. And this embodiment, when the two will fall in love, really, because the solution is love. If there's no love between the couple, it's not going to happen. But when the two fall in love and realize that they're just one embodiment, in reality, they're all the same, just mirroring each other, then the higher self, that higher plane that he's trying so badly to connect to, is going to go down into his female partner. And that female partner will be his soul, and he will talk to his soul in an embodied format as a woman across.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but this is the reason for the creation of the two, so that men can get intuition, advice, higher level intuition, and what the Greek used to call Sophia, or wisdom, from the female across. And her role is to help her man, which is herself, because she's the soul of the man at that point when they're united in love. With that, breaking down the separation, because if you were to bring the higher self, as you said very well, totally down to the level of the lower self, the entity cannot operate. It disappears. So it allows for the separation to operate and then gigantic creation to exist. And that's why they always say behind a successful man is always a woman that was advising him. You know why? Because that woman was his higher soul, his soul. She accepted it. She became a receptacle. Not to say that she doesn't have her soul, but she took his soul in, because the female has much more of an ability to connect to a higher level than the male.
Yes, yeah. So that's why then at the beginning when people fall in love, get together, they have their little moments, because there's parts of her that I don't want to see, because it's really part of me that I don't want to admit that's me.
That's true. She also teaches you that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why she's there, and that's why I'm there for her, right?
Yes. She's mirroring who you are, She's teaching you. And back and forth.
Wow, doesn't it really give great insights to the idea, how could we ever get angry at somebody or want to change somebody, or you know what I mean? Or your lover.
You have to change yourself.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to try to change somebody else?
No. You don't want to change somebody else, but that's why the only thing we can do is choose the vessel we want to engage with. That we choose. We choose
Right.
the vessel we want to engage with. Depending on the level of your higher soul, the female also has to choose the vessel she wants to engage with, because she will then accept, if she's totally in love and in communion, she will merge with that person. You see that good couples start walking in the same way. They think in the same way. They almost don't even communicate by words. They do it by thought.
Yes.
And if you have ever done some channeling work with a female with whom you're very close, you're like in awe. People don't realize they're talking to themselves. The guys are talking to their higher self.
Yes.
So if your higher self is an important higher self, you have a perfect combination to be able to walk the earth, or the thorns of the earth, and then find your way to a beautiful path. And then the creative elements of the two is gigantic, because you have recreated your original Adam.
Wow.
You've recreated your original creature that was both male and female by uniting with your beloved. And she has this perception of doing this. She's the most beautiful of it all, and she respects you. So there's this tremendous element of respect and love there. And this is the original intent of creation, because without the male and the female, there is no creation.
Yeah.
The same thing happens at the level of God higher, but that's how even the one creates that.
Same way. So I guess that's why boys and girls, since the beginning of time, are always trying to get together, and then they get, of course, confused and bump into walls and try to find love in all the wrong places, like humans do, right? But they're still wanting what you just talked about.
Right, and they always talk about the soulmate. People say, "I'm looking for my soulmate." Well, your soulmate is you. The woman is looking. If she accepts that, she will get the higher self of the man added to her connection, because she has a connection, of course, also. And then as she gets this higher self, they form a unity. It's not a division. It's not it's two beings and one being at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're able to operate in what we call the linear world through speech, through love, and then they create babies, which are magnificent babies. If on either side there is a disrespect or misunderstanding of what the role of the male is or what the role of the female is, which is the case right now. When people say, give me, but they're not there to give to each other. Because if the focus is the focus of the one, your focus towards your beloved should be just to give to your beloved. You should never even consider the necessity to be given back, because the one never thinks of what he will receive back. He just wants to give. And if this happens on both sides, of course you receive back automatically. They're manifesting the one. If they manifest the one, they can then manifest creation with such power that it's unbelievable, by just putting their thoughts together.
Yeah.
Because they are perfect human beings. They are complete.
Very powerful. Very
recreated perfection.
Like a nuclear explosion. It's like
exactly, yes. Because they become images of the one. And this is the new creation. This is where it's going to be very important to talk about the role of the male and the female.
Very beautiful. Good job.
Yeah.
Here's an email from Val. Great shows. Could you ask your guest take on not having dreams? What if one doesn't see his dreams or remember them? Some say, oh, you just don't remember. But I've had instances where I know I had a dream and I know I cannot remember it, but most often it just disappears when I come back out of the dark. Any idea how I can change that?
It's very difficult, because this happens even, let's say, when I go meditating, okay,
Yeah.
and I want to connect to levels of the one. So I go into a very deep state. I don't need to dream, I just go into a deep state, and I get the information. Usually what I do is that I get a tape recorder and I record this, because at the moment when I'm coming back into my so-called humanness, and then my cortex is starting to get all excited with human thoughts, if I don't write it down immediately, within 10 minutes, at least for me, I just don't remember it anymore.
Yes.
And it can be like something that's revolutionary, a download that could change humanity, but I just don't have it.
Yes.
So it's the same thing when you go to sleep. You're going to that level. You go to the level of the soul when you sleep, and then and as you're coming back, the best thing that I could advise him is if he's able to have a little recorder right there, just that very second when he's in between, the awakened state and the sleep state, just start recording it or write it down very, very fast.
Yeah, that's good advice. They've got these little, very small recorders that you can press in the dark and just press record and just start going. And
yes,
and it's very powerful. Because sometimes by the time you get up, turn on the light, and grab the paper, man, it's
gone.
Why is I guess it's just we're in another reality, and then we're back in physical reality, huh?
Because we become conscious of our physical. Basically, it sounds ridiculous, but our physical reality is being reconstructed in the morning for us to get up. During the night, it's gone.
That's so crazy. I don't know. Oh, my God. Justin is emailing, this is blowing my mind. Please have Mr. O'Donnell back on soon. Does he have any tips for the upcoming shift? So I guess we're all shifting on all levels, Gerald O'Donnell?
We are all shifting because the one is one being, and the one has decided that he has expanded himself, itself, whatever it's it. Yeah, it expanded itself as far as it could possibly take before the outer layer, which is us, creation on this level, literally implode or explode. We are so disconnected now from our original intent on all levels. For instance, now I just talked to you about the role of male and female, or the role of men in creation, of the role of societies, of the role of spirituality. Everything is been so disconnected from the origin. Our lifespan has been reduced to such a small amount of years, which is not meant to be like this, that he needs now to bring himself back into a balance. Now, we cannot become totally the one. That's not going to happen, because if that were to happen, everything disappears. But he will always meet us halfway. So as long as we make the movement towards the one now, looking for this core purity and love, and we will automatically change. It's not like you say, you program yourself, I'm going to be a good man from now on, I will care about. No, the moment you start looking for that energy, which is you, which is the core divine, which is everybody carries inside, and you align with it all day long, no matter what happens around you, and you do it constantly, you change in your conscience. You become aligned to that thought, and then he can talk to you. It's like in a computer. When you do an internet, you need a handshake on the internet between one IP address and the other. They have to handshake. It can only happen when they are vibrating on the same frequency. If they're not on the same frequency, they cannot handshake.
Maria's in South Carolina. What do I do about negative thoughts that keep recurring? I don't know how to stop them.
Okay, that's a classical problem with when you're doing spiritual work, especially when people come to you, and the reason why she's aware of it and she's worried about it, because she knows the power of thought. She knows that thought does manifest. So she's basically playing. It's a game of the mind. Okay, if I tell you to somebody, don't think of the color red, what do you think he's going to think of?
Yep.
Red. So she has what she's really afraid is not the negative thought. It's to have a negative thought and manifest it. She has to understand that in her mind, we have techniques in our course that explain you how to protect yourself, and it's a normal process when you get to a very high level to go through what I call the darkness of the soul, and then that game is always played to you. If you get stuck there by really thinking you're going to manifest it, it's not a good idea, because in reality you would only manifest what you really want to manifest. Yes. You don't manifest because it just appears to you.
That's a really important part, isn't it? Some people think if they have a negative thought and that's going to happen because, and that's not true, is it, Gerald? O'Donnell? Talk about that a little bit. And this is really important, folks.
Yeah, people, if that were to be the case, everybody that watches a movie, let's say,
that's right,
right now, will go outside, take a gun, and shoot people.
That's right.
Because that would be immediate, or they would have disasters happening to them. In reality, yes, the subconscious does absorb this as being reality, but you have the right at that moment to say, you can use anything you want. The word cancel, this is not my thought, I'm not accepting this is junk, see it as a little cloud and say goodbye to it. Don't energize the fear that you have of the negative thought. Mm-hmm. It's nothing. It's like having clouds passing by. And no matter how weird or disgusting those thoughts are going to be, and we all went through this, and including me, I've gone through phases, and it can be pretty darn difficult.
Sure. It could get tough, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the game that we say that, Jesus played with Satan when he was in the desert. That's the game that's played. It's a classical game going on for ages. If you give that energy, then it's going to continue playing. It's like it's almost like a sick prankster, you know. But it's playing. It's your own mind playing that, saying, I don't want to, you know, disappear at the level I'm now. I'm afraid of what you know. Your conscious mind, the ego, if you want, is afraid of going and have this to dilute itself into the divine. It's a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it. So just this, at that point, when the thought comes in, say, "Son, my thought," and laugh at it. Just the best thing is sense of humor. Say, "Wow, that's really funny." What else is going to come out?
That's why it is helpful, as you know, Gerald O'Donnell, for some people to connect up with a teacher that they trust, that is a real teacher,
right.
That they can picture that teacher saying their third eye or special mantras when these kind of things. And, you know, there's all kinds of tools, right?
They're tools. Yeah. You can say a word. I use a word that I say truth.
Truth.
Just say truth.
Yeah.
Because that's untruth. You know, it's not you. So say truth.
Just say truth. So then kind of resist not evil. When we resist those negative thoughts, they just come back stronger.
Then they come back. They're fun with you, yeah.
They have fun with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for that. Well, you're a nice guy, Gerald, and it's always an honor to talk to you. Are you traveling for a while, or are you going to stay home?
No, I'm going. I need to rest right now.
You're just soul traveling, right?
Yeah, I'm soul traveling now. I won't be traveling for quite a while now.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to enjoy the new year, and this is going to be a very interesting year from what I've gotten.
Okay,
the shift is on.
The shift is on.
The shift is on. That's it. And I would like people, if they don't mind, to go on my website. There were three messages that came in while I was in Jerusalem between December 12th, one in December 12th, another one in December 21. And by the way, there was an alignment, but it was not an alignment on the external part. It was inside the stars, inside we're aligning on the 12th, on the 21, and then one for the New Year's, which I think are very important, and let them hear it and integrate the message, because this is the rules of the new creation.
The rules of the new creation. Well, check that out. A quick email from Gloria. She says, "What's the best way to listen to the tapes? I fall asleep every time. Is this okay? I feel great when I wake up and not sure if I've done it right." You know, it's okay, right?
It's okay because your subconscious is hearing it anyway. Usually, she will wake up when she's told to open her eyes and she has heard it. But one way of doing this, she can walk around. She can literally walk and listen while she's walking. It's fine too. Yeah, so you don't fall asleep. Don't drive with it though. No, don't try this at home. All right, Mr. O'Donnell, you take care of yourself. Let us know if we can help with anything. And of course,
it's an honor to have you here.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay,
Gerald O'Donnell, soul traveler in the far country. ProbableFuture.com. Boy, that man and woman stuff, that was cool, right? True. It was all cool. He's cool. He's cool. And you're cool. And my dear Sharon is cool, and she takes care of everything around here and allows me to just kind of bump into walls. That's why I love her. She doesn't try to make me not bump into walls anymore, which is pretty good. One of our favorite shows, Andrew Goss and The Real World of Money. That'll be tomorrow. And then I think we got some interesting things coming up on Thursday about electromagnetic fields with a lady that we've been trying to get on for a very long time, Cindy Sage. I think that is happening, last I heard. All right, kids, I love you all very much. Thanks for all your ongoing support. Appreciate your kind donations. Those Federal Reserve notes, I know they're kind of dirty and stinky, but we still trade them for things like food and the rent and electricity and computer help and download speeds and all this stuff. So keep those cards and letters coming. And thank you for supporting all of our sponsors. Try them out. They're good ones. We are all handpicked. Well, you can handpick your sponsor, but you can't handpick your notes. No, I just made that up. I'll see you tomorrow. I wish I wouldn't have made it up. 9 o'clock with Andrew Goss.
Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.